principal, my old friend. Omalwa, nice to see you in one piece. We started many years ago, and it's nice to see that you are still going strong. The members of County Assembly here present, my staff from the county government, and of course with our host here, the sub-county administrator. Let me start by also thanking KCB for what they have done, the gesture they have done, especially the KCB Foundation, by partnering with this institution to impact and empower these young men and women. You are really making a contribution to humanity and to this community and to the Kenyan larger community. And I want to thank you. And I think you have summarized it very well, formalizing the informal sector and skilling for self-employment. We are saying, what is this thing we call informal sector? Again, Mr. Nakitare here has talked about the mindset. There has been that mindset about informal sector not being some kind of employment. It is like it is a temporary thing. But we are also aware that you can formalize it and mainstream it and plan for it. Because all these things we call formal, they also started as imagination in some people's minds. Those of you who are here today, maybe if you are less than 20, 30 years, you may not imagine that there was no mobile phone 30 years ago. But look at it today. It's like your life is not complete without that gadget around you, even for a few minutes. You wake up in the morning, your hand automatically is just searching where you left it. But you know, a few years ago, this thing was not part and parcel of our lives. I remember growing up, if you came to the village, you had to go to Hakati. That was the only place in the whole division, Samia and Budalangi, where you could make a phone call. And you book, and you wait to just make a call. But look what just an idea that was conceived in somebody's mind, how it has transformed society in the last 30 years. Yet it was an idea. I think most of you are aware. People always say they started that idea in a backyard somewhere. As we are lucky, we don't have backyards. We have ranches and trees and nice environments. So even here, when I see that theme, that formalizing, everything starts somewhere and then you germinate. Just like a seed. You grow it, it later multiplies and becomes food. Sinakuwa namna hiyo, kama ni mahindi. And then we're also talking about skilling for self-employment. In this country, we have again another mindset that unless somebody is paying you a salary, then you are not employed. And even sometimes when you yourself, you are an employer, you still say it's like you are not employed, sina kazi. And maybe you find you have started a business where you're also employing people. But in the person whom you have employed feels he's employed because he's being paid salary. But you who is running that fish and chips place or a marketplace, you just feel that, you are in an informal sector. You are still not employed. Very few even have got that mindset to say that I'm doing a business and formalize it. So that today, if you went to talk to KCB, then you will be understanding what we mean by formalizing. It means you have got a business, maybe certificate. The business is different from you. The business has got an identity of its own. You can go to the bank, you can partner to expand your business. This is the kind of mindsets that we are talking about here. So I want to thank KCB, first of all, by doing what you have done, by partnering with this institution. And secondly, not just imparting knowledge. Again, as we are told, those who believe in the book, that sometimes it's not just about being given fish, but it is also being taught how to fish. Now here you have been given knowledge. But not just knowledge, you have also been given the hook. Those equipment there, ni kama hook, enjero, if you belong to this part of the world. When I say enjero, you know what I mean. But not magogo kano kandi kano. That is bad fishing. Yeah, those beach signs. Hizo zinaharibu bahari yetu. But I mean, this is Rilobo. And I think one of our MCAs here is also called Rilobo. That young man there. He did a very serious campaign. Rilobo means, you can get something. Sindio? Ni kutafuta. You are able to go and look out there. You are able to go out there and fish. And I think that's for that purpose that we are here. What can I say? As county government, and it has been said here, I don't want to repeat what already some of my staff members have said. When we campaigned, we were looking at how best we can give our people dignity, human quality life, so that your journey on this earth is not just about full of misery, problems, suffering. And I believe that governments exist for the well-being of citizens. That you can't take away from me. Now, for that to happen, then what do? We must train our people. We must give them skills that make them competitive enough and be able to manage their lives and contribute. Because what is government? Government is you and me. If people are poor, the government will be poor. Because taxes, government only gets money from taxes. But we must also create an enabling environment for people to generate wealth. Then we can be able to tax to give them services, common services that are required of every government. Roads, electricity, water. We have talked about a population here of almost 700 people, and there is no water. And yet just a few meters from us, we have got a very fresh water lake. The Sisenye water project, some of these things were done in the 70s. What have we done to upscale them? Because the population is growing. Some of these places we are inhabiting, 10, 20 years ago, there were no people. People were very few. But now as we become many, we must change. We must plan for the expanded population. So tukisikia that we have got 700 inhabitants here and there is no water, that becomes a serious challenge. And this is a technical institute that should be training people who should be making sure that we have pipes, we have got plumbing. Now we are training people. And the trainer himself, wewe hauna maji. Sasa hata ukiambia huyu mtu ati wewe ukiandikwa kazi, pelekea watu maji, they may not understand. Are you getting me? There was something about civil service. Kenya had one of the best civil service in the world. And people used to come from Malaysia, Korea, to learn about civil service in Kenya. Now, if you see what civil service in those other countries they have done for their people, and you compare to Kenya, you start wondering, where were we forgotten? Or where did we forget ourselves? That people who came to learn from us have been able to implement what they learned, and they have got governments that deliver. And us, we are not delivering. So I want you people also, as you come out of this institution, because you are going to be the employees, some of you. Some of you will be the service providers through self-employment. What kind of mental attitude? Are we proud of our work? If you make a road like the one we see here, that hardly 5-6 years, the road is full of potholes. The one that was made before, the other section is okay. What is this that has happened here? And whoever was a civil engineer there, what do you think when you pass around there? Do you need somebody to come from China to mix bitumen, lami na mawe? Do you need somebody to come from China just to mix lami na mawe so that it doesn't peel off the road? And yet we have been trained. This equipment you are using here, Bosch. I've seen Bosch. Is it called Bosch or Bosch? Bosch. It's called Bosch. So this equipment is what they are using in Germany, what they are using in China. Whether you bring China, they will use the same equipment. But why should we get different output? The whole thing, again, mindset. We must be proud of our work. The MP's representative, you said there was someone here who was very proud of what he did. And that marketed the person, and he lived a better quality life because he was charging for those skills and doing good work. I was just speaking to your team in the office there, and from some of the challenges that we were talking about, I could see that we can address them ourselves. Because if you are able to service your injector pumps here, why does the county need to take an injector pump to Kisumu? For what? If you can service our tractors here, why do we need to wait? Somebody, is it what from Nairobi? Again, mindset. Because if this is our own institution and you came up with a proposal, entrepreneurship, so that these people can also learn and say we can offer some of these services, and the children, our students will be learning. At the same time, we are already giving service to the community. Because we are not training you people to be abstract. We are training you to give us solutions to our problems. I would be happy that as we start dealing, and we have got this plan to make Budalangi here one of our major blue economy center. Are you getting me? If you don't know what blue economy is, Google. I don't know what you use your phone all the time to do. I hope you also use it to learn and expand your knowledge. Sasa we Google tu hapo utaona what blue economy is. Then domesticate that. Look at what opportunities we have. How can we till our lands better? How can we improve our rice production? How can we mitigate on our floods? Most of you, again, if you are students, I think in our days, we used to read something about Egypt. Those things of irrigation and the shadoof. I don't know how many here learned about those things. Do you still learn those things anymore? About the Egyptian civilization and all that? Do you? Hiyo ilikuanga primary, I think. Si lazima mmekuja along that. Now, as with Budalangi here, why should we be having those problems? Why shouldn't we be looking at this water, this challenge, as an opportunity? How do we do drainages, embankments, so that the water we need don't need goes to the lake? The water we need, we are able to channel to grow our food. I thought that's what irrigation is all about. Ama iko complicated kuliko hiyo. See, the rest now is the technical skills or policy issues. And then we find solutions to our own problems. So I would also challenge that let technical institutions borrow from the best. And I can see you also collaborating with GTZ or GIZ? GIZ from Germany. They are a very practical example of how technical institutions mainstream in the community to offer solutions. And you'll find towns, communities grow around learning institutions, which later expand and even become factories, which later expand and even offer community services. They become towns. That's how these things work. So let us not think that there'll be a magic bullet from anywhere. Technical institutions are supposed to be centers of creativity, thinking outside the box. What is the solution? As I saw some of you learning outside there, and you were in some Mabati thing, and you can imagine with this environment, even for us to put on these blazers is still a big challenge. There was a time there was competition for Kenyan dress. I don't know where it went. Because it's a big challenge for some of us to do this. But who is thinking? Who is offering us the solution? Why do you need a Mabati thing in this environment? Can we come up with material that suits this environment as you do your research? Can we come up with designs that are properly aerated so that we don't need a fan? Because you automatically know these are hot areas. How do we come up with malaria-proof designs of housing? See, that's what technical institutions are supposed to do. So I will not go beyond that. I just want us to be critical thinkers. I want technical institutions to be centers where people are creative in finding solutions. If it is agriculture, you are looking at it completely different. So that you are saying, we want to move away from mambo ya jembe, but we want to do mechanized. Then how do we leverage on mechanized? How do you bring a tractor all the way, maybe just to till 1 acre. Is it practical? Is it economical? Then we'll be saying we can reorganize communities and say you have 1 acre, he has half an acre. How do we come together so that when the tractor is coming, maybe we have got 20, 30 acres that we are able to do. One, we will be getting more land under production. Two, we will be applying better economies of scale than just where a tractor is driving a long distance just to go and do 1 acre. I want to leave you with this issue. Why is fish now tilapia coming from China? And it is farmed. Those of you who are keen in current news through your phone, if you are not just on social media of high BP, if you're also using that phone as a book, because nowadays, long time people used to read books for knowledge, but you can also use that phone properly. You saw the other day the minister designate for agriculture when he said that Meru is producing more fish than Kisumu. What was he saying? Yetu ukiambia Manyala hapa na Musamia hapa, wanaamini hao ndio wanajua samaki. But some of the fish now, if you go to Kisumu, you will find the trucks from Mombasa, si ndio? Zimeleta samaki. So where is this fish of ours? Show me a typical fisherman who is rich. Kuruko elewa na angamani. Kuse ndulo mano malu fort muno. Mwenyanya meno meko lunyala. Munje kese hombola. Si munje kese ho. Yo bono tunana abanga sa munyanja nona ni tajiri ni. Lirobo. Wabere munyanja omumuno. Ni banga bako abala. You know the problem? Again, there's something we used to call hunter-gatherer economy. Hunter-gatherer economy, people think is about people in the forest. But even in this lake, if you wake up in the morning and you are just throwing a net and you expect some fish to come, you are still in that hunter-gatherer economy, which is biblical. You remember when there was some problem in Sea of Galilee. The Father is here, he can correct me. And then some people wanted some things, and I think there was some storm and things like that. And then, I'm just trying to informalize it. And then they said, just cast your net, and then they got a lot of fish. That is biblical times. Now, in modern era, with all the population and mouths that we have to feed, we still want to practice that hunter-gatherer way of doing things in the lake. Will it work? Yet we have got a technical institution here that can decide on fish farming, cage farming. Those cages can be fabricated here. And there's a lot of money in some of those things. That's why the Chinese are now bringing us farmed fish in Kisumu. And they are selling some of that fish, I think, 100 shillings. So you can imagine how much it's costing them to produce in China. To be able to transport apate kitu, broker apate kitu, alafu tena ule anauza pale apate kitu, and it is still at 100 shillings. Ask yourself, these are the challenges that our technical institutions should be coming up with. Tunaelewana? So today, as you are imparted with that, you are empowered, I hope that you are going to be a critical thinker. I would expect some of you to come to the office there and say, why are county vehicles being repaired in Kisumu? What is this we can do here so that we have now formalized our informal sector, so that all these funny things they talk about, you can produce, because they are just papers. Because at the end of the day, what you need is the skill to do the job and repair the car. The rest is just procedure. We talk about 30% empowerment to youth. How many of you are utilizing that? In terms of tenders. And those tenders are specific. What would be a big challenge from some of you to come to the county and say, hii vitu tu ya kurepair magari hii, kwa nini isikue pia that component of youth? That is how we need to think outside the box to empower you. Because that employee in Toyota is the same you. Does Toyota come from Japan to do repair hapa Kisumu? Si ameandika tu wewe. So what is difficult for you also to transfer a Toyota franchise here in Busia? Na pia wewe uwe mwajiri, the same people. Si bado Toyota tu, just the way KCB is doing here, can also take you to Japan, dismantle gari na ufanye. Are we getting me? So please, that is the challenge I want to leave you with. But once again, I want to thank KCB for doing what you have done here today to help us. I know this should be our responsibility, but as you said, every corporate organization, you require that corporate social responsibility. Because you can also not do business when society is not progressive. It is an enterprising society that enables business to thrive. And I hope as you do this, you're also teaching them how to open accounts. But as they open accounts, where is the money going to be coming from? So they must also be learning entrepreneurship. That these skills you have given them, tomorrow that tool is going to enable you to open an account and contribute to the economy of this county. God bless you and we wish you success, and we want now to formally kufanya hii maneno. Ama mlikuwa mmepanga kufanya namna gani? Haya, basi. Tumalize hii ndio tuende tufanye kazi nyingine.
Thank you very much, Bwana Governor. So at this juncture, we want now to hand over the toolkits that KCB is giving to the beneficiaries. And this one will be officiated by the governor and will be accompanied by our guest from KCB Nairobi and any other dignitaries are available. So I would request